Assalamu alaikum and welcome to lecture number 9. In our previous lectures, we discussed about the built-in functions. Today, we'll talk about the user-defined functions. A user-defined function is a function that is written by the programmer U to perform a specific task. User-defined functions are used to reduce repetition of the code, reuse same code again and again, make the program easy to understand and easy to modify. We use the user-defined functions to avoid writing the same code over and over again, divide big program into small parts, and make the program neat and organized. Now the syntax for the user-defined function is as follow. We use the keyword def. You understand when we use the keyword, the color of the keyword is different than the other values or other statements. So we use after def, we use the function name and then the parameters also called the arguments and followed by the colon sign. Again, you can notice that we have the indentation. So indentation again, we have used several times and I just repeat why we use it because indentation is like brackets that tells the compiler or interpreter that these statements belong to this function. So you can see that these are 4 spaces to the right. And then if we are returning values from the function, then we write the keyword return and the values we want to return. There are certain rules in naming the function. These are the name must start with a letter or underscore. It cannot start with numbers. It can contain letters, numbers, and underscores. There are no spaces allowed between the names. So like here we have mentioned function and then name. So to avoid spacing, we use the underscore. So you can see there is no spacing between this one. Similarly, no Python keywords are allowed such as if, for, while, etc. So based on this understanding and rules, let's start an example. So you understand that we start with a def, a keyword, then we write the function name. For example, we want to make a function that adds two numbers. So I write add underscore numbers. So this is the name of the function. Then we write inside the parentheses, the input parameters are the arguments. So for example, we have two arguments here, A and B. So they are comma separated. And finally, we write the colon. After this, we write the logic or the function it is going to perform. So for example, this is the addition function. So we'll write C is equal to A plus B. So this is basically addition function. Then we write the keyword return. So you see the color of return is different than the other colors here. And I write C. So this is a function, user-defined function, which adds two numbers. So hopefully you understand that we have followed the naming rule, that there is no spacing. It does not start with a number and it contains letters, numbers. We can also write here numbers, okay? And there is no spacing between these and we have not used Python's key words. So once we make the function, then you understand we call this function. To call the function, okay, so I write result is equal to call a function, we write its name. So its name is add numbers. So I write its name here, and then I write the input argument. So for example, I want to add 4 and 5 and 4. Okay. Now after calling the function, the result is saved here in the result. Now I want to see what is the result, so I will write the print function. You understand, print is built-in function, and I write result here. And when I run this one, so you understand we have this button for running, and then I write this, run this one. So again pressing this one, so you understand the result is 9. Again, we can add that we try to take the input from the keyboard. So I can write it like okay. So for example, x equals to uh, int, and then write input and write enter first number to be added. Okay, so let me copy paste, Control C and Control V. So for example, I denote the second number y. So I write y equals to enter, and I say second number. And then I say, okay, let's add these. So I just copy paste and write the add numbers, and instead of 4 and 5, now I will write x and y. So when I run this code, it asks for the first number. So for example, first number is 20. Then it asks for the second number. For example, second number is 10. And when I enter it, it will show the result. So result is 30. So hopefully you understand how to make function, user-defined function in Python. Let's take another example. For example, I write a function that takes the square of the input number. So I will write def space, I name it squaring underscore number, and again because it takes square, so it will have one input or one parameter or one argument. And I write C, or you can write anything, right? So for example, b equals to square. So you understand square can be written as a double steric 2, and you also understand we can also write like a into a, and I say return b. So this is my second function. Okay, let's call it again. So you understand, to call a function, we write the result where we want to save or equate it or assign it. So I want to assign the value to the result. So I write result equals to, then I will write the function name. Okay. So this is Control V, and for example, I give it 9. Okay, now to see the result, print is used. You understand, print is again built-in function. So either it's a built-in function or the user-defined function. To call it, to call any function, you write its name, and then in the parentheses you write its argument or parameters. So I write result, and when I run this code, I get 81. So you understand that the square of 9 is 81. So we can also make another function, for example, that uh, takes the mean value, that returns the mean value. So I write def mean underscore value. So what it will do, it will take two numbers or maybe three numbers. For example, I write A, B, and C. These are three arguments or parameters or values. Then I say mean value, or maybe you just write uh, D is equal to, you understand the formula for finding mean. So you write A plus B plus C and whole divided by 3. And then I write return, and then I write D. So this is our function. Let's call it. So let I write result equals to mean value. Okay, let me copy. C. So again, we are calling it here, and we are assigning the uh, return value to result. So I write mean value, that is name of the function, then I'll provide it the input parameters or arguments or values. So this, let's say we have three numbers, 1, 2, 3, and we want to find its mean value. So to display the result, I will write the built-in function print, and then I'll write result. Okay, and that's all right. So the result is 2, you understand. You can also modify it so that it takes the value from the user and then display the result. So to take the value from the user, you understand, we use the input function and the input function, because input function always returns the text or string. So we need to convert it either into float or into int. So we use the float or int function there. So that's all for this lecture. You have the practice problems. Okay, write a function to print your name, write a function to add two numbers, or write a function to find square of a number. Although I have done these, but you can use your own logic, or you can implement it differently. Write a function to check whether a number is even or odd. That may be a little tricky thing, but I think you should try it. So to summarize the lecture, the important points are def keyword is used to define a function. Okay, so to define any function, you first write the def, then you write the name of the function, and then in the parentheses you write the arguments that the function will work on, followed by the colon sign. Okay, function name should be meaningful. So code is inside a function must be indented, as I talked earlier about the indentation, that you shift the statements to the four spaces to the right, or you can also use the tab, or because I am using this Jupyter notebook, so by default, if I write these lines colon, and when I enter, so it goes to the four spaces or one tab shift. A function runs only when it is called, and you understand when how to call a function. So to call a function, you write its name and followed by the parentheses where you write its input arguments. You can call a function many times. So the related code will be posted on the GitHub, and that's all for today. See you in the next lecture. Goodbye until then.